Hasan versus Cenk.
Let me
You
see.
gotta prelude this. This is your job now.
So fast.
I get.
So I took a screenshot so when it just where Jank basically starts saying, "Yeah, like this is my."
I get to chill now. I get to just kick my feet up and just do whatever I do.
Yeah, you put it like 30 seconds. Or sorry, not 30 seconds. 30
I'm waiting
minutes.
for this stupid ad.
Yeah.
30 minutes?
Yeah, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts going into the. Yeah, basically when.
Oh.
The thing that the left has been angry over TYT for.
Man, Cenk is kind of zesty.
Zesty?
Isn't that? Look at the. Oh, you can't see it. Look at them lip purse.
Oh.
Kind of zesty there. Kind of. What was it with the nails?
Yeah, no, it's zesty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
zesty.
zesty with
A
it.
little zesty with it. I see you, Cenk.
Oh, you need to put the.
I don't hate you, Cenk.
Movement, honestly, and this is where you and I can begin to disagree. Getting too radical and too away from what most Americans want. And the second iceberg.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So look, we saying things like all sports leagues, including professional ones, has to allow trans women. They don't have a choice, etc. That pulls it like 2%. You say, hey, it's a moral issue. It's really important.
Do you think
the sports leagues are like the most important thing in the whole wide world?
Do you think it's actually a significant issue? Do you think that is a significant issue or a driver of the conversation, or cynically weaponized by Republicans with like some liberals taking the bait and then having a conversation about it instead of being like, fuck off? Nobody cares about
Wait.
talking about this immediately.
It was muted.
Sorry. So, and this is a thing you'll see through the video where basically Hassan's like, well, this isn't really a big ticket issue for liberals or progressives, but Jank still decides to harp on it and go on the offensive on it, despite it being a relatively small thing for people that are actually, protesting inaction in real life. If you look at Twitter, and where Twitter purposely puts the people in the algorithm that are, crazy radicals or things that basically only like 1% of people actually believe in, yeah, you'll see a lot of them because they're the ones that are the most inflammatory. But I think Cenk is skipping the beat on that. I don't think he totally understands that when you look at online media, those are the things that are going to get brought up to you because they're the ones that get the most inflammatory response. They are.
Look, I don't have a solution for the highest of high-end sports, because that's a completely different ball game and I'm not even that familiar with. But staying within my lane, I heard a good idea. I forget the basketball player, but he brought a good point that, if you bring girls up playing against boys from a young age, from like middle school, then they're going to play pretty good against boys. If you take girls who've been playing against girls and put them against boys, they're not going to do as well. So the takeaway I had from that is, I don't remember the basketball player, but I'm pretty sure someone might know if they see this. My takeaway is co-ed. I mean, why not we try out co-ed sports? Because that kind of throws the whole trans issue to the side.
Yeah.
Because if I'm being honest with you, I don't got any other solutions beyond that. I knew some girls growing up who wanted to play sports with the guys. Because, I mean, let's be real, the guys' league is more people care about the guys' league. Well, like being in the girls' league for a lot of girls feels like being in the bullshit league. Let's be honest, Like, I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's what a lot of people see it as, and it's. So why not try co-ed sports? I mean, it throws the issue out altogether. And a lot of people do support co-ed sports. A lot of people are cool with co-ed sports, and you see it all the time. The girls trying to compete with the guys, and yeah, sometimes guys will do the cheerleading stuff with the girls. It happens. There's places where it can happen. Why not? I mean, if they're willing to do it. But let's see what they say. Because I think one last point. I don't think it's it being a trans issue. I think it's the way you package and sell it.
Yeah, and I don't even think Drake necessarily disagrees with the issue, but basically how it's being perceived and and people's reactions online.
But that goes into what I was saying. I think you're kind of coming at it from the wrong angle.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be trying to do it. Like, if you think it's a trans, you think trans issues aren't going to sell it, then why not just sell it under the co-ed sports? Because then, that gets rid of the problem. It doesn't matter what gender you are. So.
Immediately.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what the right wing does. They weaponize every single issue. What I'm trying to get progressives to do is stop falling in the trap. So the minute they say it,
but do you think,
our side comes out and goes, no, this is the most important issue. And anyone who disagrees is a Nazi. You just called 98% of the country Nazis.
Okay.
What are you doing? You're alienating voters like crazy.
Do you think that organizers on the ground, both trans and cis, that are or members of labor unions are even using this as a talking point in any meaningful capacity? Or is it simply reactionary Republicans bringing this up because they tried and unsuccessfully failed to push the anti-trans button with bathroom bills?
Except for the fact that they passed all those bills, which I despise. No. I hate those bills.
Let me just clarify something here. In the lead up to the 2016 election, you had the North Carolina bathroom bill that was anti-trans, right? You have to have the gender assigned at birth be the bathroom that you go to.
That totally failed.
Okay, right. That failed. That was so objectively a failure that Donald.
Oh yeah, you had the kid inspector shit.
I think
Wasn't that also in Florida too?
Well, they're doing the inspector in some states where they're like, okay, in order to make sure. Well, no, talk about hiring a pedophile. I know, right? They're like, oh yeah, Republicans, they're not pedophiles, even though they'll hire somebody to check kids' private parts because they suspect they might be a boy or a girl in the opposite side of the sports, right?
The professional diddler.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, they'll just hire somebody to just look at your kids, and that's really fucked up.
That he did is, that is very fucked up.
Trump came out and said, I don't give a fuck where Caitlyn Jenner shits as long as she's shitting in Trump Tower, right? Something along those lines.
But
I'm
then
paraphrasing.
He tried to ban them from the military.
Hold on. Let me finish.
That was also unpopular. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me finish. Okay? Yeah, he tried to ban him.
Cenk's big heart.
Also unpopular.
Yeah.
So what did Republican interest groups do? The family, moral family, Christianity fundamentalist groups. What did they do? They went back to the drawing board and they looked for a reasonable sidestep that would still be anti-trans, that would open the door to anti-trans conversations that they could push for that was more popular. What did they find? They found that Americans love the concept that is bullshit. Meritocracy. What is the most meritocratic process in the entire country, maybe in the world? Sports. Americans love sports, and Americans believe that meritocracy is real, and it's especially real in sports. So they changed the narrative away from trans people can't pee and poo in the fucking bathrooms to trans people want to destroy sports. It was simply just another way to attack trans people, which is precisely why I think a lot of people correctly looked at that and went, why the fuck are we talking about this? This is...
Please. Yeah.
Oh, God, that's another just fucking 20-minute chunk.
There's Cenk running for president.
Is he? Is that a joke?
You want to find out?
All right.
Is because I think there's about a 90%.
I mean, Hasan would say probably everything I would say if I knew to say it.
Yeah.
If I'm being quite frank. The only thing I would be interested in is maybe defund the police. But it's also getting disgusting in here. So we can save that for the next one. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see.
Chance that Joe Biden's going to lose. Point one.
Was he
for president?
Beginning?
Democrats in DC.
Huh?
Well, at least probably like maybe in the beginning he says he's going to run for president.
Is there anything else we want to talk about? I'm sorry.
Oh, boy.
We spoke for 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Brother, you're going to ask me if I'm running for president.
Oh, yeah. You're running for president. So what's going on? What's your goal here? Why are you...
Oh, he really is.
But
okay,
why?
First of all, it's not official. I've got to get a staff together. When it's 100% for sure, obviously I'll let you guys know it's 100%. But the reason why I'm very seriously considering it, leaning in that direction, is because I think there's about a 90% chance that Joe Biden's going to lose. Point one.
You know, I'll just say this.
Is it already too late to like sign up for ballots in certain states? Like, isn't it too late in the process to like sign up to, be voted for in many of the states, especially like in the beginning, like the first states like New Hampshire? Like,
not if you go third party, it ain't.
Oh yeah, well, but then again, also you'd have to create a bunch of polls, right, to show.
Not if you go third party. You all run your own poll.
Like, I guess technically you can show up like at the bottom of the list, but like, why would you do like? Look, I can understand if you did this from the get go, like 6 months ago, and you're like, okay, I'm going to like go on the offense of like a Cornel West situation.
Yeah, I'm
like,
I'm just gonna go with the. Well,
but you're not even like going on like a Democratic debate stage. You're just you're just gonna like just take votes.
God, we gotta watch the
just
Newsom,
because
we gotta watch the Newsom and DeSantis debate when that happens.
Didn't RFK and Marianne Williamson have a debate?
But I don't care.
But the thing is, like, if you really cared about bringing in stuff to the conversation, that's why you're doing this. Wouldn't you have wanted to like been part of that debate? Wouldn't that be your big point? Why are you jumping in where the only thing you can really do is just take away votes? Like, you jumped in too late, right?
Legacy?
Maybe. Or maybe you're just trying to hurt the bear, trying to just poke it.
I mean, we've talked about this once or twice. Like, just being a candidate for president is something you can put on a book. So,
yeah.
I honestly think it's that simple for a lot of people. Some people speculate that about Marianne Williamson. So,
yeah, and you can also argue that why are you going to take people's money if you? I mean, look,
if you know
Cenk
you're gonna
isn't.
lose.
Yeah, if you like,
you're trying to push a message, if you want me to be charitable, it's because you're trying to push an issue through politics. And in the case of Andrew Yang, in the most charitable case, she did push for UBI to become a part of the conversation. Yeah. And a lot of cities are now experimenting with it.
Do you think Cenk is going to end up with, even 10%?
What would be... I mean, no. But Andrew didn't... I don't think he even had 10%.
Yeah. So
it doesn't need to be 10% to get your issue across, is my point. But what would be his issue,
He has the wolf pack, which would be to get money out of politics, but I don't think he's going to get any ground on that from Biden.
I don't think he's going to get any on that.
Maybe union stuff, but Biden's already been good on union.
Medicare for all, maybe? I don't think he's hit and miss on unions.
Well, Biden's already done the negotiation for 10 different types of, 10 different medications to different drugs.
Yeah.
So I don't know how farther he's going to be able to push them.
The Medicare for all would definitely be a second term action.
Yeah.
I'm going to close out.
So that's why I sort of feel like he's only doing this just to hurt their electoral chances. He only has a 99% chance of winning, so that's why I'm going to make it 99.9999%. It's
maybe he's just talking off the cuff. I mean, if it's really too late, then he can't really do anything.
Yeah, that's true.
It could just be that's the shitty thing about a podcast is sometimes you just say shit and it's not shit you can really commit to because it doesn't even sound like he's all that committed here.
Yeah, no, it's just...
sorry.
Unlike
No, it's okay.
Democrats in D.C., I actually think...
sometimes I hold the mouse button.
I actually think Trump is a fascist.
Yeah.
And I think that the country's going to have a very tough time recovering if Trump wins the election again. But the Democrats say, yes, well, on the other hand, we have to bow down to authority, and Joe Biden is the authority figure, so we must all obey him. If it means we lose our democracy, well, at least we weren't impolite to Joe Biden and Democratic leaders.
So I agree with you. I think that Democrats...
It just feels like he's totally miscategorizing what people are saying, It's he's the authorities with the bow down to him. No, it's because if the two piles of shit, one of them will do horrific things to certain groups of people and the other one won't.
Yeah, but we got to admit that, and I think what they're saying is that's how Biden treated his entire campaign. That's not a good direction.
Yeah, the fact that he wouldn't talk to...
do debates.
Yeah.
It's I don't need the debate. It's king, who knows you fucking king? That's the only problem. It's I agree with you, but I do feel them on a level because it's I value that process. You know what I mean?
I value it too. However, it's not like you're going to get that through the Republican side. I mean, Trump literally just doesn't show up to the debates and he's still winning.
No, I agree with you. I guess some people would say, I don't know, channeling the inner Vosh, you would probably say if the process can't get that outcome, then it's not a very good process. Yeah. So maybe that would be the takeaway here. But again, it just doesn't seem like a good road to go down to just be that comfortable throwing away democracy, just throwing it out the board.
And there was stuff that Biden, the administration did where they're going to change, the starting states that vote, so then Biden will have a good start. Mm-hmm. And basically show that, instead of in the traditional 10 states, we're going to do a neo-Bidenism 10 states. Mm-hmm. So then it makes it look like he's going to perform better than he really would have originally. But then again, your alternative is a Republican.
Your alternative is someone who's going to actively restrict the voting process as much as possible.
Yeah.
So
who won't say that, January 6th is bad or that President Trump basically didn't win. You're going to bring in a group of people who are just going to further destroy democracy and at a much stronger, rapid pace.
Yeah. So the takeaway is that you resist where your resistance would be most useful. And hate to say it, but it's still with the Democrats.
Yeah, and
but the boat's sinking. Yeah, that's the one thing that we got to acknowledge is that the boat's sinking. If we continue down this road,
but it's like you're telling me to jump off the sinking boat because there might be a rowboat at the end, but there's not because the ship said no rowboats. The ship said we're going to basically make it impossible for there to be rowboats.
But you do realize that this is a death march, right? Like even if we do go your route, that we're okay with this. This can become a cycle.
Yeah, the third party is a faster death march.
No, I'm not. No.
Oh, no. I understand that it's
follow your
yeah. No, it's there's 3 different death marches, and the slowest path to death is the Democratic Party.
Do you think it makes a difference?
Do I think it makes a difference? I mean, I guess you'll just get climate change a lot slower than you would voting Republican or third party because third party would just hand it to the Republicans, and Republicans would make it worse faster.
But when I'm saying that the fall of democracy is happening, though, and as we watch it fall, as people are getting cut out of the process, it's more or less about how both parties are engaging in that process, and that even if we are okay with one party doing it because we agree with that party more, we're going to still lose democracy even with them in power doing this route.
Yeah,
that is my concern because we don't have a route that maintains democracy.
Yeah, but then again, third party doesn't. Like, I would argue third party would make it worse.
I understand that, but there is no route for democracy.
I agree. That basically,
that's the biggest concern.
Each route is leading toward democracy ending, but just one of them is the slowest route. And I'd argue that there's a chance that if you go full Democrat, that you'll get Democrats like AOC. Or I know there was this one white lady that was really good in California, and you'll get like some that are really good that actually have say in government. Because you can vote third party or independent with Cornel West, but like he's not going to have a sizable say in government. And like that's the problem, like the third party myth where you're like, okay, we'll vote in a third party person, but the system has made it so then they'll never really have political say in the federal level. And I'd like to believe that they would be able to go in there, but the system is literally made so then they won't. They have a worse chance at making a political difference in the federal government than somebody like AOC.
I understand, but that highlights more or less to me that I think it's slowly becoming. I'm wondering if it's slowly becoming the main issue that maybe voting reform needs to be one of the biggest issues.
Yeah, you can go the Kyle Kulinski route where you're like, okay, let's just do like voter voting. Like basically each voter gets to say some things on some bills.
Ranked choice. Oh, there's that. And there's ranked choice voting.
There's ranked choice.
Because I don't fully agree with you. I actually think on the state level and under, I think you should go third party.
Well, yeah, on the state level. That's what I was saying, federal.
Yeah, anything below that, you should go full on. Because that's how the Democrats even have their power base.
Yeah. I would say if you're in like a situation like Georgia where it's like basically the only 2 left are Democratic and Republican, then you should go Democrat. But like when you're talking about like the primary where like it's early on, then you should go full throttle third party. But like if you're already past that point and you're within like the last 3 months, then like you're pretty much dead set on either blue or red.
I will say do it if they feel like they earned your vote. You don't owe them anything.
Well, I mean, the Republican made me want to vote against them.
Well, that's if a lot of people don't feel satisfied with the Democrat option.
It's true.
So that's why I wouldn't recommend it.
But a lot of people,
if you want to disdain, then that's their choice.
So because, a lot of people are pissed off enough by Republicans to just vote against. Like, they basically earned a vote against themselves. You're right. As a Republican talking to like a liberal progressive person, it's like, oh, well, they're going to do stuff like cut child lunch funding.
No,
that's enough to get people to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to vote against you.
My only problem is that a lot of the party is right now controlled by oligarchs. We have AOC and Bernie, a few good people in there, but they're the minority. The majority of these people are donor class people. And if we lose democracy, even with the Democrats in power, they're not going to look out for us. Shit's going to get worse, too. Yeah, we can have more say with them. Maybe they'll do some good things. But it's like the scab. It's like the scab story, right? It's a short-term gain for long-term loss.
For
democracy.
Well,
we're winning these short-term policy gains, but when the Democrats get their full power, they can. What if they just gatekeep progressives like AOC out?
yeah, it's true, but
They
like,
just run them out of town.
what would be the equivalent for a third party if they're just literally nothing?
No, I understand
Like,
that, but
okay.
the Democrats aren't giving options either, and
Yeah.
that's something that if the people are going to play ball with the Democrats, they need to, I think, make that a larger point. Which is
I don't know.
the Democrats aren't providing options.
I would see the third party being almost like. I would almost say that the Democrat Party is more like the union option, and then third party is those who say, well, we should just do a national, worker strike, and it's just sort of like this pie in the sky thing where it feels like
A general strike, yeah.
And I'm like, well, that would be great, and I'd love you for the idea, but it's not feasible for our current state.
Union is probably, I will say this. I think union is the closest that you have to a third party. It's like, what, like 20, 30%
Yeah, but
of
still,
Americans
a lot of them go
unions.
for Democrats.
A lot of them do, yeah. I think that's an interesting point, though, in terms of that kind of power, because that might actually be the one place where it could happen, but...
Yeah, if you're like on the
Again.
local level, that can sway things and put a third party in there, and that does happen. Like there's some.
I don't
Bernie
care
Sanders
if it's a third party right
technically
now, if I'm being
independent.
honest with you. I just care if there's someone willing to do voting reform. Because at this point, like, it doesn't matter. I don't want there to be a good Democrat.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of a good Democrat or a good Republican, because that's how we got here. We need to have a system that's good at voting in people and that actually cares and listens to us, because it doesn't really listen to us. Now, I know I'm saying the most fucking boilerplate shit in the world, but it's just, I just don't want us to forget the obvious, because that's my only thing. It's like, the Democrats are not a democratic option. They are eroding it, but, we fully acknowledge they're eroding it. It's concerning, because I care about the process.
Yeah.
And there are processes that are better than the one we have. That's the fucked up part, is that we have innovations we could easily call upon, and we don't.
Yeah.
So, man,
But like,
what a fucking note to end on.
yeah.
Is Cenk going to run third party? Let's answer that.
Yeah.
As the most important election of our lifetimes, and in some respects it is true. However, I do think that if that was the case, then the Democratic Party, or if they actually believed it, they wouldn't put up Joe Biden. They would not have put up Joe Biden last time around, especially when the
What do you think about that? The
What?
fact that Biden didn't pick himself. The org picked Biden.
Yeah, I mean that was
The cabal.
Even when you look at during the election, it didn't seem like Biden really wanted to run. It just seemed more like it was picked for him by the establishment. And don't get me wrong, the DNC is a top-down org. That's why like Debbie Wasserman Schultz basically decided, oh yeah, we're going to choose Hillary as our main guy, despite Bernie having a lot of grassroots support and being obviously the better option.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a lot of top-down functions.
Oh, well, here's a picture of the Democrats.
But then again, I'd say that's also that's the very reason why a third party wouldn't be able to win. Because imagine you have the top-down force from Democrats and Republicans, both leaders, both cabals.
Actual
right?
pictures of Democrats.
So imagine, like, basically on the left, there's like the Democrat donkey, right is the Republican elf, in the middle is like Jeff Bezos, and then the middle right here is basically
The entire
Cornel
shitty world.
West, and they all just smack him down. Because at the end of the day, all of them would prefer either a Democrat or a Republican in office than a third party like Cornel West. And that's why you're more likely to get a Democrat to have a say, because an independent just wouldn't be brought to the table. Like, they just wouldn't have their... In the local level, you're talking about, like, oh, yeah, like...
The local
in
level
your district or in your
infinite
state.
room.
Yeah, in the state level, like, you can't get them to go in there because they're not as meticulous. They don't have a
To
strong...
be fair
pull.
with you, too, to just add to the point, I mean, Sanders, most of his careers was an independent.
Yeah, that's what I said a bit before. Yeah, he's technically an independent.
Yeah. So
But
I
then
mean,
again, to run as a president, he knew to go Democrat.
Well, I think the point is that a lot of people see when we talked to Graydon, he's even talked about how he disliked it. I kind of wish we got his perspective on it, but I will say one thing: it's better to have someone who was independent at first and can demonstrate that, and I think that's better energy to bring in than someone who was a lifelong Democrat.
Yeah.
Again, it's just when we talk about it like this, it comes off like, oh, we just got to accept the Democrats.
No, it just comes off
for
that like you're like a
10,000
DNC
years.
hound. But I'm like, well, what am I going to lie to myself that jumping off the boat there's going to be a rowboat at the bottom? No, because they banned rowboats. They banned a viable option like Cornel West or Marion, like even Marion Wilson, who's in the Democratic Party. Like, she isn't as below. Like, she's going to have a lot more say, like RFK Jr. They're going to have a lot more say than somebody like, Cornel West. But at the end of the day, yeah, no, it's true that the Democratic Party doesn't like those people that don't share the top-down positions.
Well, we can ask our next guest about voting. We can finally get a third opinion on this insane hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Also, side announcement. We got a host we got a guest coming in the next week. We're finally doing interviews again. Yay. And if this one goes well and we don't absolutely fuck it up somehow, we're going to do more interviews.
Yeah.
And hopefully not make more enemies. We haven't made any yet, but we'll liven this place the fuck up a little bit.
Oh boy.
I know, right? Serious. Maybe we'll finally earn our way to become members of the Robes.
Maybe it won't be as war. But no, that's probably not happening till much later.
Oh, God. Yeah, to be fair, if we ever did in-house interviews, I would definitely want to get a studio for that.
Well, of course.
I don't want to bring random
rent a space.
I don't want to bring random-ass motherfuckers to my house.
No.
Holy shit. All right. Anyway, there you go, you guys. You guys got our plans, and we'll update you a little more in the future.
Bye-bye.
Bye.